I wanted to make a video talking about this election is a lot closer than a lot of people think. Now, today is Sunday, 2 days after the FBI Hillary Clinton investigation email or the letter, James Comey letter story broke. You will come to Real Clear Politics. I've been following this race from the start. And Real Clear Politics today is showing 126 Trump to 263 Clinton, 149 toss-ups. And I want to show you why this is not quite as accurate as you might think, even though they use a polling average, which is more accurate than the single individual polls that come out. But there has to be some sort of factor taken in for A, the size of the polls, and B, the timing of the polls. For example, New Mexico here is a blue state with electoral votes given to Clinton. Click on it. What do you see here? There's only two polls. Most recent, October 2nd, when Trump, I believe a couple of days after the Trump tape had come out, Clinton plus 13. Prior to that, this is before the Trump tape had come out. Both these polls, 500 people. The end of September. Clinton plus 4. So this is what they're giving New Mexico to Clinton on, is two polls from well over, it's now October 31st, or October 30th. Also, there's other polls here, like Iowa. Every poll in Iowa, pretty well since the start of this race, has showed Trump with a significant lead or a tie. Not all these polls are equal. Quinnipiac seems to be about 3-4 points swayed in favor of the Democrats. But anyway, we look here. Almost every poll's been in favor of Trump. Yet still, this is a toss-up, Iowa. I understand it has to go to 5 points in the average. But it just seems that every time Trump gets a lot of polls in his favor, then all these other polls report that are not in his favor. And it seems to be a knee-jerk reaction to the pro-Trump polls. And if you look here, most trustworthy are these ones with massive voter numbers. Or this one is almost 2,000 people in this poll, showing Trump up ahead by 4 here in Ohio. Yet, in the polling average, which is 1.0, this is given just as equal a weight as this Suffolk poll that shows a tie with only 500 people. And these are going back, obviously, 2 weeks. These last two showing a tie. Some states like Colorado. Okay, there's a new poll here that wasn't up yesterday, but we're looking at 4 polls. Some of them going back as far as October the 13th, when Trump was at a very low point, same as this October 16th. Trump was at a very poor point in his campaign at this point, probably at one of his lowest points. Clinton plus 8. They're still showing this. Now it's just gone into the toss-up status, but this is very close. Clinton plus 2, plus 3. These are recent polls, last week and this week. What's the purpose of keeping these numbers involved in the average here, when something 2, 3, 4 weeks old is a political eternity in America? just seems the timing. Every time Trump gets a poll in his favor, they're right there with a few Clinton ones. And it's always the same ones that are coming out. I noticed in the national polling, this poll, ABC Washington Post tracking, is now showing Clinton +1. Well, let's go back here to Tuesday. This is the same poll. ABC News tracking. Clinton +12. How is it possible the exact same poll could lose 10 points for Clinton in the matter of a few days? And before this email hit, which, when did it hit? Friday morning. You could see that it lost 8 points on the course of Tuesday to Friday. 3 days it lost 8 points for Clinton. That's probably statistically impossible. Now let's look at the electoral map. You know, here's a real clear map. 236 to 126. This is just an interactive map, but it shows sort of the similar numbers here. But if you really think about the electoral map, it looks a lot different, okay? First of all, Colorado is now proven to be within close distance. New Mexico, we don't really know because the latest polls are from, you know, September, so that's months ago. And I'm just going to tick off all the states where Trump has a lead or has basically controlled the polls the entire time, including Iowa, Georgia, and Ohio. Because he's been ahead the entire time. I know you can't seem to crack that 5% needed to color the state on Real Clear, but it seems like they card out a lot of polls in Hillary's favor whenever they need them. He's ahead in Nebraska. He's actually ahead in this second main point. New Hampshire's a toss-up. He's ahead in Utah and Arizona as well. There's some talk of it being close in Arizona, but all of the numbers I've seen have basically showed Trump. Or they're a questionable mainstream poll that seems to be reading. Now, basically the election's going to come down to this. Now, this looks a lot closer. And this is the true picture. But also, there's certain states that might be in play, even though the polls are showing they're a little wider. And these are the kind of states that they don't know what kind of turnout Trump's going to get here. So these are the kind of states like Michigan, Pennsylvania. Minnesota, I think, is a little more heavy Democrat than the other states. But basically, this is your map. It's relatively equal here. We have Democrat 208, Republican 216. I shouldn't even say Republican, I should say Trump 216. So essentially, I mean, even if this goes Democrat, Trump's sort of shown that he's had a lead in Florida. And, you know, if he's going to do anything, he's going to need to win Florida. So, I mean, let's use, for this simulation, let's give Trump Florida, because I think he's going to win it pretty easily, but he's been ahead in Florida most of the time. It seems to always have good numbers. I think Florida's a tailor-made state for Trump. So I'm going to give him Florida for this simulation. Now you see he's 245. So if he's able to win Florida and North Carolina, that puts him at 260. North Carolina is very even. It's right down the middle. I wouldn't give the advantage to either party. Clinton seems to have a lead in the polls, but we also know the polls seem to be in her favor. So, operating in her favor anyway. So, if Trump can win Florida and North Carolina, which I think he has a very good chance of doing, that'll bring him to 260 electoral votes, or possibly, 259 here. But assuming he wins his second Maine congressional district, this is how close Trump has numerous paths to the White House. Any one of these three Rust Belt states that he wins, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, he will have won the election. And they're saying he has a real good chance to win Michigan, which under this scenario would win him the election. Also, Pennsylvania would win him the election. And there is a possibility that he could lose North Carolina and still pick up some combination of these other states to win it. Because let's put North Carolina back for a second. These are the Trump states that he's favored in. And Florida, we can put it back too, but we know that Trump needs Florida. So we'll give him it for this simulation. But he's at 245 to 213 here. It's neck and neck in Colorado. Nevada's very close too. Trump could win a combination. If he wins North Carolina, gets a 260, he could win a combination of Colorado and anything else on the map. New Hampshire is in play. That's a Trump win. These are the real swing states for this election. These ones here are a little more of a stretch, but it is possible that he could win North Carolina, Florida, Colorado, Nevada, and win the election without having to win Pennsylvania, Michigan, or Wisconsin, or New Hampshire. He could also lose Nevada and win New Hampshire and win the election. Any sort of Pennsylvania win is going to be a Trump win. And that's assuming that he's not competitive in New Mexico, which very well he may be, or Minnesota. And they're saying Oregon, he could be in play too. But you never know who to believe with this late election cycle spin. But judging from what I've been able to determine from following this election and the polls and trying to make sense of the rigged polls and all that and everything, this is what I've come up with. These states likely to go Trump, these states likely to go Clinton. These states will be the deciding factors. And it's all over the country here.